Basic SEAL training is 6 months of long, torturous runs in the soft sand, midnight swims in the cold water off San Diego, obstacle courses, unending calisthenics, days without sleep, and always being cold, wet, and miserable. It is 6 months of being constantly harassed by professionally trained warriors who seek to find the weak of mind and body and eliminate them from ever becoming a Navy SEAL. But the training also seeks to find those students who can lead in an environment of constant stress, chaos, failure, and hardships. To me, basic SEAL training was a lifetime of challenges crammed into 6 months. Finally, in SEAL training, there's a bell, a brass bell that hangs in the center of the compound for all the students to see. All you have to do to quit is ring the bell. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to be in the freezing cold swims. Ring the bell, and you no longer have to do the runs, the obstacle course, the PT, and you no longer have to endure the hardships of training. All you have to do is ring the bell to get out. If you want to change the world, don't ever, ever ring the bell.
Aaron, how are you, brother?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Which part of the States are you in?
I'm up in Virginia on the Eastern Shore.
Okay. Is that Norfolk is in Virginia, right?
It's about a 3-hour drive south from DC.
Yeah, I was in Virginia many years ago now. When I was in the Marines, I was on an aircraft carrier for a year, and we stopped in Virginia, and then we got a car and drove up to Washington. That was a hell of a trip.
I bet, especially being on a ship.
Yeah, and so Aaron, I should point out, I think you are the first Navy SEAL we've had on the show. We've had a lot of SAS guys, quite a few SBS guys, but from the American side of the Atlantic, I think you're the first Navy SEAL. So thank you and congratulations.
I think it's an honor being here.
Yeah, and listen, I'm aware you've been through the mill a bit, and we'll come on and talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
And you feel free on my show to say whatever you need to and whatever you want to. But I know that my audience will be absolutely fascinated to hear about your career and how it all started. So can we take it from there?
Yeah, you can take it from as far as like when I came in, or?
Well, like, how is it if you want to join the SEALs? Because with our special forces in the UK, you usually have to be like in a unit for, let's just say 3 years, maybe 5 years. And then you leave the army and you go to the SAS, or you leave the Marine, or in the Marines, we go to the SBS, Special Boat Service. Now it's all mixed services. So each unit can go to the other one, so to speak, right? But yeah. I gather with the SEALs, it's like you can join the Navy and go straight to SEAL training. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can join right out of high school. You can be 18, 19 years old, even 17 if you're here in the States. If your parents sign a waiver. But yeah, you go through the whole boot camp and you get a SEAL contract. And then you, once you get done with boot camp, you basically just wait until you class up. You go to like a SEAL prep course. And then once your class number or whatever classes that I put you in, then you go down to California and start SEAL training. Is that
like cool? I mean, if you haven't had any sort of combat experience or military experience, does that work? I mean, obviously it works okay.
I mean, yes. Yes and no. I mean, there's ups and downs to it. I guess the product that we're seeing now, and is the lag of conflicts and wars going on, that this generation that we have going on is, I guess, pampered and tailored, and they want everything give it to them. So the product that's coming in now is not as good as it was back then when the product was, when there's a war going on, there's the experience was around and you can get raised, I guess you can say, in the teams, you know, and basically get trained and, you know, the spear sharpened all the way up to, you know, the point of combat. But it's cool too, the fact you come right in and get to go to SEAL training right out of high school. I mean, I think that's pretty awesome. But then again, it's a downside if you get thrown right into the middle of a, you know, combat deployment and there's no experience around. Because nowadays, I don't know how it is on that side, but over here, I mean, basically all experience is kind of few far in between these days.
Yeah, it's funny when you join the military, some guys can have a whole career and you know, I say a whole career, maybe they can do say 7 or 8 years and they don't even see a conflict. Other guys can do 8 years and they're on, you know, they're on deployment like 3 or 4 times in a major, you know, major war zone.
Yeah, I think it's just right time, right place, right leadership. So
What made you want to become a SEAL other than the obvious, you know, fact that it's a great career?
you know, when I first came into the Navy, I didn't go right into SEAL training. I actually went to a ship. But I guess one day, I mean, if I can remember a long time ago, I think I ran into a SEAL that was active. And I was, you know, 19 years old. And I saw him do some training. And I was like, well, that seems pretty cool. And he was like, hey, man, you should try it out. And I was like, you know, I might try it out. Next thing I know, I passed the test, got a BUDS contract, and the rest is history.
Wow.
But I was really into like the books, and I mean, of course, we've all seen the movies and stuff, but that's not like my main goal of the reason why I wanted to join the Navy or be a SEAL. It's basically I was young and got myself in some trouble, and I didn't really have many other options but to join the military. So
yeah, I think that's like a lot of people, right?
yeah,
And so I mean, BUDS is, I've watched like that series that was on the television.
yeah, the class 234.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah,
It's really kind of funny. Even as an ex-military guy, I watched that and like I'd really like to have a go. You know, I'd really like to I get it, right? It's such a I don't know, you know, it's a cool career. It must be so special to get your trident.
yeah. I mean, I got my trident. I think I was 21 when I got my trident. I think I was about 21 when I got my trident. But yeah, BUDS is, I mean, people always ask me like, well, how'd you make it through? And, you know, what's the secret to it? And did you get injured? Did you ever think about quitting? I mean, yeah, I thought about quitting one time. I remember one time I had shin splints so bad in first phase that I couldn't even keep up with my boat crew underneath the boat. And I remember the instructors grabbing me and throwing me in the back of the truck and, you know, yelling at me and telling me to quit. They drove me to the grinder, to the bell, next to the bell, and told me to grab the bell. I mean, I grabbed the bell, but they were like, ring it, and I just let go of it. And I was like, no. And that was like the only time I did it. But yeah, it was a fun time. I mean, it sucked, but it was fun. You know, looking back on it, it was a fun time in my life to go through that and experience that, especially at such a young age. I mean, now being my age, I mean, I like pizza and beer too much. So I gotta go through that again.
But you guys, you all look so big. Is it like steroids is big in the SEALs, or is it just everyone's in the gym, or were they big guys when they joined?
I mean, some of them were big guys when they joined, and they just have that natural, like, big. I mean, there's their frame. It's just the way they're genetically built. But guys, I mean, that mentality never stops to work out, and guys are just always in the gym. It's like second nature. Just as far as steroids, if guys do it, I mean, that's on them. It's on their personal time. But from what I see, is guys just, you know, constantly just work out all the time.
Mm.
You know, protein bars, protein shakes, just like large pizzas, and just run and lift weights.
And let's talk about the BUDS actual training then. How long is BUDS?
So when I went through back in '06, it was first phase. So you have NDOC, which is before you phase up, which is I think about 3 weeks. And then you have first phase, which was 9 weeks. Second phase was 9 weeks. Third phase was 9 weeks. And then after you get done with buds, you go to what you call SUT, which is SEAL qualification training. So you usually graduate around October. And then from October until about May, you go through SUT, which is, your free fall, your static line, your land warfare, how to actually become a SEAL, more diving, basically finding your skills you learn in buds. But now I think they cut it down to, I want to say each phase is like 6 weeks now, 7 weeks, because of the whole, we got to have more people and pushing people through. And the product was not as well as it should be. So.
And so one thing I want to ask, is there 2 training camps for SEALs, isn't there? Is it one East Coast and one West Coast?
No, that's a team. So there's just only one play. Everybody goes and trains in San Diego for buds. But then after that, you get assigned teams. So you either go to the West Coast teams or the East Coast teams.
I get
and
it.
Then,
just looking at my map here, San Diego, just down from Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
And what is the water temperature like there, Aaron?
San Diego, cold, very cold.
It really is, yeah?
I don't think it ever warms up.
I was going to say, because in the UK, it's even in the summer, it's still fairly cold, right?
Yeah.
So this, I don't really know if it's kind of a punishment, but I know it's just a big part of you guys' training, as they say, get wet and sandy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of, like if you fucked up a little bit, it's like, right, Howard, wet and sandy, and you got to run down to the beach. Oh, we've lost you a second. Hang on.
There you are.
You got to run down to the beach. You got to throw yourself in the water, and then you got to roll in the sand, right?
Yeah, it's called a sugar cookie.
And can you describe that? I mean, do you start getting like hypothermia when you're doing that, or is it easy? Or
I mean, it's just basically another form of just, I guess, torment, and just a way to just make you more miserable mentally and physically. You're exhausted, and you just get done getting dry. You change your clothes and like, hey, we'll get wet and sandy. It's kind of one of those just like, gosh, okay. But as far as guys would hype out and stuff, and they have to check the temperature. But as far as like the sand, I mean, it gets everywhere. So the chafing is real bad. And I mean, I had a scar like on top of my head from the boats and from all the sand forever, because it would just completely eat your head raw and leave scabs all over your head. And it was just another way, it's just to mess with you. Boots are soggy, just sand, and you just can't get rid of it.
How many guys did you start with, and how many guys did you finish with?
I think my initial class, I started like when I first classed up, I think I started with 312 people. And then I ended up graduating with 54. So.
Wow. Did you say 300?
Yeah, 312.
And they all rock up at this base in San Diego, Bud School.
Yeah. Yeah, we all start first phase together and have that initial breakout of first phase. And then guys just start dropping out left and right. And then once you get through Hell Week in the first phase, you go into second phase. And that's when you get all your rollbacks from guys who like failed the obstacle course or failed a run. And so I graduated Hell Week with, I think, 32 people out of all those people. And then we got 22 more people in second phase, and that's the rest of the class I graduated with was 54 people.
God, so it's 10% are getting through.
Something like that, yeah.
And that doesn't include the people that didn't even make it like past the recruiting.
Well, I mean, even in SQT, you get rolled back if guys can't seem to get stable when they're free falling, or they, safety violations and stuff. They get rolled back to the next class. So, but yeah, I graduated buds, 54 people.
So this exercise you see in the swimming pool where your hands are tied. Yeah, you got them behind your back. You've got to go up, get a breath, and then, or you maybe you breathe out, I don't know, and you got to go down, then you kick off the bottom, go up, breathe, and then you go. That looks as though if you didn't stay really calm, you're going to freak out and start breathing in water.
Yeah, because most people aren't very comfortable. Like, you know, they're comfortable swimmers or something. They've never been restricted in the pool. So it's not, the drown proofing, honestly, is probably one of the easiest things, because literally all you have to do is just relax and just bounce off the bottom of the pool up and down, and then maybe kind of porpoise hands and feet tied behind your back. But once people get their hands and feet tied together, it's just their mentality. They just start freaking out underwater and thinking that they're actually, you know, proof themselves to drown, which, I mean, you really can't. It's just the whole mentality thing is trying to get you comfortable in the water. So, because all you do, what's that?
Were you a good swimmer when you applied?
Yeah, because when I was in the regular Navy, I was the search and rescue swimmer. And so that got me ready for buds. And then my dad always had me, when I was growing up, in the pool, water, no matter what.
When you say search and rescue swimmer, is that like the guy in the helicopter, or is this some?
Yeah, the guy in the helicopter.
Wow. Like they made a film about that, didn't they? Well,
I think they did.
The Perfect Storm was also the rescue. What do they call them? Parajumpers or something? Pararescue or no.
PJs, yeah, parajumpers, or yeah, search and rescue swimmers as well.
Yeah.
We stormed the helicopter. Yeah.
How was that? Did you have to rescue many people?
No, I helped out with the back when Hurricane Katrina hit Louisiana stuff. I helped out with that here in the States, as far as like flying around and, you know, picking up people in the litters and baskets from the house. But as far as like jumping in the water and saving anybody, no, I never got that chance.
That's a tough job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I saw one.
Go ahead.
No. You go ahead. You're my guest.
I was gonna say I swam more in SAR school than I did in buds.
Yeah, search and rescue school. Yeah. I saw one documentary on the TV where the chopper had gone out and all the guys were in the water, I think, because their ship had sunk, and the pararescue guy stayed out to sea. You know, they're like 20 miles out or something, and he let one of the boat, the guys that was drowning, you know, or would have drowned, he let him get on the chopper to take the last place. He said, right, I'll stay out here with the rest of the guys, and, you know, we'll see you, I don't know, maybe 3 hours time or whatever. And that is just, I mean, that is heroic. People use the word hero all the time in the military, and I try and say, no, it's not all heroes, you know. A lot of just normal guys, a lot of assholes. But, yeah, you know, but what that guy did was just so brave. I mean, chopper might have come back and not been able to find them, right?
I mean, hats off to those guys, because if you watch like what is it called? You know, the deep sea crab people, like the biggest catch stuff on like Discovery. You see those SAR swimmers out there rescuing those guys. I mean, the hats off to them. Like that's pretty heroic stuff. I mean, that's crazy. Getting in that water and
ice cold, and those waves can be huge.
Yeah, don't worry about the boat. And
did you find the diving was okay then?
Yeah, diving was fun. I mean, because we use the rebreathers, and so I mean, it gets kind of tedious after a while. It's not really fun recreational diving, but I mean, it was all right. Wasn't one of my favorite things to do, but you know, it's kind of one of those things you just gotta push through. I think my favorite part was, I mean, third phase, when you get to all the explosives and, you know, shooting of the guns and stuff. Instead of doing night dives and just basically compass and in the dark, just kicking into nowhere until you smash into something like, oh, it's a pylon or a pier or a ship, and you're trying to navigate around it. So you got your buddy next to you who are both navigating, and he's yelling at you because you went the wrong direction, but all you hear is the muffling sound, and they're arguing with each other underwater, and it's pretty frustrating, but you know, it's one of those things you got to do.
Yeah, so for people at home listening, the rebreather is a military system that what you breathe out gets sucked into this equipment, so you don't put any bubbles up, obviously, because your enemy can see the bubbles. Is that right, Aaron?
Yeah, that's correct.
And I didn't realize that kind of diving, you're not like going really deep. Is this correct? You're just kind of getting under the surface, so you can swim onto the beach or swim onto an enemy position or a boat or something.
Yeah, you're about between 15 and 30 feet.
Ah, so fairly deep. How?
Yeah, not too deep, but the longest you can stay in the water is probably about 4 hours, unless you do like a emergency descent or something. Say a ship's coming in, and with the rules of diving and all that stuff. Further down, the less your bottom time or air time you have. So if you do like emergency descent, then you cut bottom time in half, or do all the calculations, which I totally forgot since buds.
I've done a lot of diving, and now I just use the computer. It's a lot easier.
I mean, you can probably bring your iPhone down there these days, and they tell you everything you need to know.
And how then, if you have a dry suit, I mean, my dry suit, I got to put air in it to like inflate it to go up. I got to, dump air to go down. Obviously, that's creating bubbles. How do they get around that in the SEALs?
Just try to get as much bubbles out as you can, as far as like sucking it down. We got those vacuum sealers you can do, like where you seal like travel clothes. You can suck all that out as much as you can, or you just wear a really thick wetsuit.
Okay.
But like bubbles, you kind of like go above your buddy's head and kind of splash it around and kind of spread it apart.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about the pool work. We've talked about the diving. What's the furthest you have to swim on the surface? And do you always use the fins?
Yeah, you always use the fins. So in buds, every week we had a 2-mile timed ocean swim, and then during second phase, so it was like every phase, every week you have a timed ocean swim 2 miles. And then in the second phase, we had a 5-mile ocean swim, where they, for some reason, like halfway through, they try to give you energy, and they give you a bunch of Ensure, or those boost drinks, which is basically milk, and see guys throwing it up. And of course, I drank it. I was like, oh, it's gonna give me energy, and you're throwing up everywhere. But yeah, that's my only time is like when you swim a lot is during buds. It's about 2 miles to 5 miles, the longest. But when you're getting dropped off, like say an OTB, which is over the beach, it just depends on, it could be 1,000 yards, could be 500 yards.
Okay. Did you find, I mean, I'm guessing you get cold at the end of a long swim, especially in San Diego.
Yeah, you just push through it.
Yeah.
Some guys don't wear wetsuit hoodies, so they get vertigo and they start spinning. But one of those things, just got to just block out, and just faster I swim, the faster I can get out.
Yeah, I bet. Oh my God.
Well,
and we hear a lot about this Hell Week. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So if you actually go onto my Facebook page, I actually put a couple pictures of me up there during Hell Week. Yeah, it's basically don't quit, just grind it out. I'd say I've got maybe a total of 1 hour of sleep during the whole week, because I know, if I can remember right, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday night was the first time I got to actually sleep, and it was maybe, I'd say a 30 minute to an hour nap they give you, but I almost would have rather stayed awake, because how you fall asleep pretty quick, and when you wake back up, you're right back in it. You're just like, oh man, you're stiff. You don't know what's going on. But being at Hell Week, they have these tents set up right there all around the grinder and stuff, and you go in Sunday night, they recall you in, and you go into like one of these dormitory rooms that we have classrooms, and they're feeding you pizza, and you're watching 300 and movies and having a good time, and nothing's going to happen. And then they're like, okay, everybody go out to the tents. That's the tents, and everybody's anticipating, I hear something. It's like that all night until finally everybody passes out, and next thing you know it, you hear a clink, clink, dink, and crash bangs go off, and here comes a guy running in there with a machine gun, just blasting it, and you run out, and all of a sudden you get hit with a fire extinguisher hose, and smoke's going off. People are yelling at you. There's multiple cadres with machine guns and just blasting guns and crash bangs going off, and it's just pure chaos at the beginning. You know, run over here, do push-ups, you're getting sprayed, yelling at you, smoke flares going everywhere, and they just get you wet and sandy. And all week, you had the boats are never off your head the entire week. And I think they calculated a total that we ran in Hell Week was, I think, up to 150 miles for that whole week. The boats on our heads. And they had this one run where it's called the Elephant Run. Where basically, you start at Bud's and you run all the way down to the beach, which is, I think, like a little over 3.5 miles, then all the way back with the boats on your head. And it's roughly about 7 miles just running with the boats on your heads for no reason, getting wet and sandy. And they had this thing called Camp Surf one of the nights where, you know, they got the cadres sitting around, they got a big bonfire, and, you know, they're coking and joking. And basically we have our paddles and we're just digging holes in the sand, just digging to keep us awake. And every now and then they'll be like, get wet and sandy, but, you know, there'd be the guy, I was one of the guys, we'd run down to pretend like you got in the surf because they can't monitor everybody. So you like splash your little stuff so you like get wet and then run back up and start digging so you're dry. But then they can they'll be like, hey, they'll pick out random people to come up and tell a joke to the cadre. And if you make the cadre laugh, you get to stand by the fire for like, you know, 5 minutes. But if they don't think it's funny, they tell you get wet and sandy. And I remember I went up there and told a joke, and I think as soon as I opened my mouth, they're like, get wet and sandy. So I ran down the beach, tried to splash myself, and sure enough, got caught. And I had like lay in the surf for like the next 2 hours, just getting wet and sandy because I tried to skip out of it.
On the Hell Week, do they do that thing where you have to link arms and lay back in the surf?
Yeah, that's all the time. Just lay there, just wet, always wet.
And that must get so cold.
It does. I mean, you're miserable. It's just a miserable week.
How many hours sleep do you get during that week?
I think a total I got was, like I said, probably maybe an hour and a half.
Wow.
But that doesn't count too for like falling asleep when you're standing up or trying to find a way to the cadre look and kind of doze off real quick. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm a master of, you know, sleeping while I'm standing up.
And what was it like how do you know when it's all over? Is it like done on the day, like a stopwatch, or would you keep going until?
Basically, you know, when it's Hell Week is over, it's when you do this thing called Around the World, is where your boat crew goes on the other side of the island right there in San Diego, and you paddle all the way around the island. It takes all night, all into the morning. I mean, just your whole boat crew's paddling. Dudes are falling asleep, falling off the boat, and it's supposed to be a teamwork kind of building thing, but that's when you know, okay, we're at the Around the World, we're getting close. And then once we get up to the beach, you know, there's a big flag raise and ceremony and stuff like, hey, congratulations, you're done with Hell Week. And then, you know, it's a big ceremony and everything, congratulations. And then you go through Walk Week, which is the whole next week, is where, you know, guys are getting recovered from medical stuff. They let you sleep a little bit longer, and we have night sweats. You got your medical checks, make sure you're okay to still participate through Buds.
My gosh. Must be must be like a dream come. Well, it's a dream come true, right?
Yeah, I actually have my whole Hell Week filmed. We had a TV crew out there filming us for that, and I have it on the DVD, but it won't work in these new Blu-ray DVDs players. So I got to find and buy an old DVD player for it to work. But I have my entire Hell Week filmed for that. Wow. I'm trying to. I just hadn't got around to buying a DVD player yet.
Oh, it's a shame I can't get a copy of that.
I'll give you a copy. Yeah, whenever I transferred over and everything, because someone was old. This is back like 2006, so I gotta.
Have you got it on your computer, like in files?
It won't open up on my computer. It won't open up on this new MacBook. I gotta get to some geek squad, I guess you can say, a computer person who knows how to.
Yeah, Oh, they'll fix it for you, I'm sure. Would be good to give it to my producer, and he can put it in, some of it in the podcast. But I don't know how you can, if you can't open it, you can't send it electronically, you know.
Well, I'll figure out a way.
Yeah, see if you can. That would be great. So let's talk about the SQT. So the continuation, the specialist training. What's the skydiving like? It looks amazing.
I mean, it was fun. I mean, that was the first time I've ever jumped out of an airplane. And, you know, I remember when because they build you up to it, and, you know, you jump out and you got the instructors holding on to you, and, you know, they're showing you how to position your body and how to control yourself so you're not tumbling or spinning out of control. I remember the first guy to jump out by himself, like, okay, now we're jumping out by ourselves, because the whole time they're just holding on to you and you're not really doing anything. They're just showing you what it's like. But the first guy in our class jumped out. We're all watching him, so excited, and he has a malfunction and has to pull his reserve. So of course that gets everybody all, you know, scared, just like, oh, this is how it's going to be. And so I remember when I went out to jump, as soon as that door opened up, I was just like, man, kind of like close your eyes and just hope for the best and just jump out. And it was fun. But I mean, it's a lot of work, a lot of training, and, you know, it's definitely one of those things where you got to be constantly engaged. If not, you know, you can mess something up and you could possibly even, you know, die. Reality of it. But
did you start by doing the normal military parachute course, just jumping out with a static line?
Yeah, we did that first. So I think it was because they condensed our course, and I got lucky. I didn't go actually to the Army one. I went to our own, you know, spec warfare one, which I think was only 5 days. But yeah, I didn't like static line at all. That's not fun. And hats off to the guys who do that all the time, every day. Like, that's not. I don't enjoy that at all, because you can't control the parachute. It's basically a big round canopy with wooden toggles. You're trying to, and if you have a malfunction, there's no way, because you're jumping out 1,000 feet, 800 feet. I mean, it's gonna be pretty hard to get your reserve out. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Personally.
Well, if you jump into combat, they're chucking you out so low, you don't have a reserve, because there's no point. It wouldn't work, right?
No, I mean, it wouldn't work. And then the landing too, they tell you the PLF is basically put your knees together and you just smash into the ground and like a sack of potatoes. Like,
yeah, I'm really lucky. I did the military parachute course, and then I've done AFF skydiving as a civilian.
Yep.
But I haven't done the sort of stuff you guys have done, jumping out the back of jumping off the tailgate of a plane. And do you, in the UK Special Forces, they call it hey ho, which is high altitude, high opening, and hey low, which is high altitude and then low opening. Is that the same as what you guys were trained in?
Yeah, it's the same. We do more hey-hos. I guess you can say hop and pops. Oh, I lost you there again. Sorry.
Okay.
You see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do more. It's called, I guess you can say it's called hop and pops, where basically we jump out, you know, count 1,000, reach 1,000, pull 1,000. So it's a quick, short pull, because, I mean, really, like you do in combat or anything else, there's really no need to do a low opening, because you're, you know, probably trying to or there's no need for a low opening. So once you do high altitude, high opening, you get in your stick formation, you all form up and you come in as one solid unit, a solid team, and try to land in the same location as everybody else. Because I know when we do training, you jump out. I mean, we have night vision on, say for nighttime, and you have guys who have their IR strobes on, and you're always got your head on a swivel, looking left and looking right, and you just chaos in the air. You see parachutes everywhere, so you're like, I don't want to hit this guy. This guy might excited to me. So you got to be pretty much on your A game, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
Did you do any jumps into water?
Yeah, I did a lot of jumps in water. I think that's a lot easier than doing it on land, because you basically just splash and then unclip yourself, just wait for a boat to come by and put your parachute up, they pick it up for you and everything, and you're done. You don't have to pack it or anything.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's really living. That's really living the special forces life, jumping into water.
I mean, if it's
So
nice water, not cold water though.
when you do that, so are you wearing like your wetsuit or a dry suit?
Yeah, usually wear a wetsuit underneath your camis, or you can do a dry suit, but sometimes, like I've done it myself, where you put too much clothing or too many layers on underneath, and then you're just sweating, just sitting there sweating the whole time.
Yeah. And you've got
Or
so much equipment as well.
yeah, or you forget they got a neck ring to where if you got a dry suit on, where it's supposed to keep all the water from coming in. It's like a plastic ring, and I've done it too, where you forget to take it out, and you jump in the water, and all of a sudden, next time your whole dry suit's flooded with water. You're like, well, I mean, that's kind of pointless.
Oh, the ring lets the air go in to cool you down, right?
Yeah, it's to keep the restriction off your neck and throat, because once you put that thing on, it's such a tight squeeze. It feels like you can barely breathe. So that ring kind of gives you some kind of room to breathe.
Yeah.
And if you don't take it out in water, I mean, it's water just dumping inside your dry suit.
So, Aaron, did you go straight to SEAL Team 6? How does that work?
No, I went to SEAL Team 1 first, and I did 2 deployments there. So basically, to come to DevGru, you got to do 2 deployments first. I think it's 3 now, but then you got to do at least 2 rotations, 2 deployments, 2 full workups, and then you can put in a package to screen. You got to go through the whole psych eval. They come and interview you. You got to pass the physical screening test, and if they like you, then they're like, okay, cool. You can now come out to DevGru and try out. Go out to DevGru, do the whole thing again, do the PT. You got to pass the screener test, and then you got to go through the whole DevGru pipeline, which is about 6 or 7 months, just to get into the squadron.
What's the screener test? Just very briefly.
It's like a 3-mile time run, 500 yards swim, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups.
Okay, yeah. So a bit like USMC sort of tests, the sort of thing we did in the Marines.
Yeah.
And did you go on deployment with SEAL Team 1 before you went to DevGru, or?
Yeah, I did my deployments to Afghanistan and a couple to the Middle East before I went over there. So I did 3 total deployments at SEAL Team 1 before I came over to DevGru.
And how many deployments did you do with DevGru?
I've done 3 so far.
So three each side.
Yeah.
And how much, I'm guessing you've seen a lot of action in the Middle East?
Yeah, a lot of action in the Middle East and a lot of action in Afghanistan too.
Can you give us some kind of idea for people that have no idea what, were you sent out to get targets, to get what, I don't know the correct name, but we would call them players?
Yeah, you can say it's players, like, enemy fighters, combatants.
Combatants, yeah.
Yeah. So same concepts over there too. Is like, hey, y'all are going to Afghanistan. Cool. So we get there, we do a whole, brief, where we're going, the who, what, when, where, the 5 W's, the why, and basically get there. How the same thing works is you got so many support and intel gathering and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, just throwing out a date like 10 June, whatever, we're gonna go and get this one guy. Then let's say that's like a week away. Then you train up for that, and then go get that guy. Or sometimes it's every night, like, hey, we got to clear this whole entire valley, to get these guys or stop these guys, and and then the rest goes from there. Just fighting not every day. You're not always fighting every single day. Sometimes you are. Depends on where you're at and what geographic location you're at in that country. But other than that, it's like sometimes you pick and choose. Like, okay, this guy's of high interest. Let's go get this guy. Or, hey, this guy might know this guy. Let's go see what's going on over here.
And what's the kind of firefight like? How do you react to that? How does it feel when rounds are coming in? What kind of ammunition, what kind of munitions are you putting back at the enemy? And are you calling in air support and this sort of stuff?
Yeah, we're calling air support, dropping anywhere from 500 to 1,000 pound bombs, JDAMs. Um, Basically run with like a 5.56 or 7.62 uh, caliber, or we have we call the 84 Carl Gustav rocket,
Yeah.
launching those, launch 40 Mike Golden Egg grenades. Some guys carry the Mark 46, 47, which is the machine gun, which is a 5.56 machine gun or a 7.62 machine gun. And as far as like taking rounds or being involved in combat, I mean, everybody's saying, "Oh, it's tough. I won't do anything like that." But at the end of the day, you're getting shot at. It's not cool. I mean, you're scared, but you're not gonna let that fear overwhelm like you protecting your buddy's back and your buddy's protecting your back. Because I mean, we all want to come home at the end of the day. I want to go back and play my video games when I come back, from an op or something like that. Kind of reset and relax. So the whole mentality of just going through buds and the way they build you up to take on that stuff it's pretty surreal of how they actually do it and how your mind kicks into the overdrive and protection mode.
So the SEAL Team 6, why do they call it DevGru then? What is that, an acronym or something?
Yeah, it's a development group. It's basically they develop like R&R. So they develop new concepts, new tactics. The shiny new stuff is new tactics, shiny new everything's coming from DevGru and passing it on to everybody else.
Okay. And are they kind of specifically aligned for what we would call anti-terrorism?
Yeah, hostage rescue, anti-terrorism.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you have to do much of that?
Never partook in a hostage rescue, but as far as like anti-terrorism and stuff like that, as far as dealing with those people, absolutely.
Did you get many casualties in your team?
No, not as far as Americans, but a couple guys got injured, a couple guys got blown up. As far as like taking any fatalities or anything, no. Luckily.
And so, do you know like Marcus Luttrell? Is it a small world there, or is it there's so many SEALs that?
It's a small world, but I've never met him. I know of him, know his legacy, know his stories and everything. But as far as meeting him personally, I've never met him.
Okay.
So,
is there any kind of like? I'm trying to think the word we would use in the Marines. Is there any kind of folklore around his story? I mean, is obviously most people have seen the movie, which was it Lone Survivor?
Yeah.
I mean, is that said to be accurate, or is?
I would. There's people always have their opinions about it, and people always ask me that too, and I always tell them like, hey, I wasn't there. So I don't know, and I can't comment on it, like what my opinion is of it because I wasn't there. Like,
Yeah,
I think I would do him disjustice, and I don't want to disrespect him or the other members that passed away because, like I said, I wasn't there. So I mean, how can I really comment on it or put my twist on it or what I think? Because that's just me. I don't think I have the right to do that because, like I said, I wasn't there. So. But yeah, everybody has their opinions, and everybody's going to say something like this probably happened, this probably happened. But if they really want to know the real story, why don't you just call him up and ask him yourself, or watch the movie, read his book.
Yeah, got you. And Chris Kyle, of course, was another SEAL, wasn't he? That came to prominence.
Yeah.
He was what was that film called? The Sniper, wasn't it? The
American Sniper.
American Sniper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how did you leave? What was this when you got into all this trouble came up? Are you okay talking about this, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I mean, cause I'm still attached to DevGru and I still have orders and everything there, and I'm physically actually still attached to them. But as far as like getting in trouble, I think when they came and accused me of these accusations, the first thing I did was get a lawyer. I said, I want a lawyer before I sign anything. And their knee-jerk reaction was automatically, I'm a traitor for getting a lawyer because for whatever reason, there's some kind of unwritten law that if we talk to lawyers, then we're rats. I've got called anything from a snitch to a rat to a traitor, untrustworthy, just because I got a lawyer, because they were accusing me of something. And that's when it kind of went downhill from there. And, they released me from my squadron, released me from the command, and put me over into a trash detail unit as an active duty Navy SEAL of Dev Group, picking up trash, cleaning toilets, cutting grass, painting buildings, sweeping parking lots, everything, while this whole investigation and stuff is going on. And it all started because I said I wanted a lawyer.
Are we able to say what you're accused of? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you were accused of, I don't know,
Catfishing.
Catfishing. But
So
then
basically they accused me of pretending to be a female that works at our command to text other girls at the command and some not from the command to say, hey, I'm this girl, send me nude photos. And these girls allegedly sent nude photos. And so they're saying, oh, it must have been me. So then that's when they started trying to investigate me. Long story short, at trial, they found me not guilty of everything they accused me of, but they found me guilty of Article 134, which is basically a catch-all article, which is basically prejudice to good order and discipline. So that's equivalent to me walking outside right now on a Navy base and throwing a piece of gum on the ground. I just, brought discredit to the United States Navy, so they can then theoretically charge me with Article 134. So they found me guilty of Article 134, but not guilty of everything else. Confined me for 30 days, reduced me in rank, but they kicked me out of the Navy, and they've found me $1,500 fine. But at trial, I passed 2 polygraph tests about this. They didn't care about that. At trial, the NCIS agent didn't produce any nude photos of these girls. These girls said they never sent any photos. They didn't find anything on my phone. They didn't find anything on my computer. They didn't find anything in my call records. They didn't even have probable cause. This is verbatim, quote, under oath, the NCIS agent's words, saying that she didn't even have probable cause to get a search warrant to get any of my information or any of my electronics. They never took these girls' phones. They never took these. All they basically went off was their word, these girls' word and their emotion. And to the jury members, and it worked. There was zero evidence against me. And because I'm a part of Dev Group, and with all the other SEAL cases going on in the news media, that made me an easy target because the prosecutor that was prosecuting me was up for promotion and she wanted to be a judge. So with this guilty verdict, she then gets promoted and then becomes a sitting judge. The judge blocked all of our exculpatory evidence to be shown to the jury members. So basically we're going in there with, we didn't do it because the judge blocked it and they're so corrupt that, and we impeached all the girls too. We caught them in all their lies and they still found me guilty. And now I'm appealing the case.
And is there anything you want to say that might, to my audience, that might be able to help you?
Yes, I mean, just I have a petition going around talking about it, as well as my website talking about it. It's pardonaaronhoward.com, and in that petition, I'm just petitioning to try to get the president to see that this is wrongdoing, because I mean, basically they found me guilty with zero evidence, and the UCMJ which is the Uniform Code of Military Justice here in America, is just completely tarnished and corrupt, and they get away with everything. It's not due process.
In the US Navy, do you have this expression that we have, kangaroo court? Do you know that expression?
I wouldn't even call it a kangaroo court. I'd call it a Sesame Street court.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's from your position, as an elite SEAL, to be made to clean toilets. Well, did you get blown up in the Middle East? Did I understand that?
Yeah, I got blown up in Afghanistan back in '09.
Can you just tell us about that? Because again, people would be fascinated to hear that.
Yeah, just on one of our ops, one of our men stepped on an IED, and happened to be a couple guys behind him, and I took some of the blast, and it shattered the left side of my face, and I had to get 3 reconstructive surgeries on my face to fix it. So last year was my last surgery that I got, and they put a 3D implant in my face. The first time they put screws, plates, the whole thing, new gum line, but the plate and the screws came out, and it was protruding through my face. They went in, took the plates out, and just left it. So I had no orbital bone, no socket bone, no anything for a couple of years, until finally this past year, after all this time, like 10 years, I finally got my third surgery where they made a custom 3D implant and put it back in my face because I was getting infections and stuff inside there from not having a plate and sewn up. So they finally put a 3D implant in my face right now. And I still don't have any feeling and stuff in my left side of my face, but other than that, I mean, it's good to go.
And what's it like then when an IED goes off?
I didn't remember it. I just remember waking up and I had IV sticking out of me and everything, but really don't remember much of it. I got all the x-rays and stuff of it, and it's just one of those things like, hey, I'm glad I'm alive, glad everybody else is alive.
No one was killed, no?
Nobody was killed.
No. Did you wake up back in the States, or were you still in the Middle East?
I was still over there in the Middle East. So, yeah, they woke me up, put me in the hospital, worked on me there a little bit, and then that was towards the end of the deployment, and came back and then got a surgery and fixed it, and then went on from there.
And can you describe what happened in the build-up before the ID was triggered? Were you in a village or something?
Yeah, we were patrolling through through the mountains and stuff, and we came to this open pass, and we were supposed to go to this one village, and during this patrol, it's quiet, nothing's going on, and next thing you know, boom, because over there they just plant IEDs everywhere, and when the guy stepped on it, it's the last thing we remember.
God, did anybody lose a leg or anything?
Yeah, we had one guy lose both his legs below the knees, and but now he's fine, walking around and everything, and a couple guys got a bunch of frag and shrapnel.
How many people were on that patrol?
I'd say probably maybe about 20, 25 people.
Okay. Did you have to, what did you do? Then call a chopper in immediately for a casevac?
Yeah, we call a chopper in immediately for casevac, get him out of there and get me out of there and get a couple other guys out of there.
Yeah. Because if it gets there's too many people injured and the situation's not secure, then you got to get the QRF force in, right? You got to get back up and dealing with
the timeline and the lack of speed over there. Sometimes it could take an hour, sometimes it could take 30 minutes, sometimes it could take even longer than that. So it's best to just get on the horn real quick and call it in.
And while we're on that subject, can you shed any light on the chopper crash that was it blown out of the sky? Because didn't SEAL Team 6 lose allegedly all the guys that were on the Bin Laden raid?
No, it wasn't all the guys in the Bin Laden raid. It was it probably was a couple guys on there, but you talking about Extortion 17? Yeah, a lot of troop, a lot of the guys in the troop, lost their life that night. It was pretty tough, man. Like, I don't know the full details of it, or actually, what? I just know that an RPG took it out of the sky. As far as like the build up to that and the reason why and everything, I don't ask, and I know that I don't want to do a dishonor, disrespect to the family of all the members, that passed away. But yeah, it was a tragedy. It was a terrible event. But from what I know is that an RPG took them out, and 0 survivors on board.
Yeah, awful. God,
Terrible.
So sorry, we kind of diversified a bit, Aaron. But so coming back to your situation, people can sign this petition.
Yeah, you can go onto my Facebook. It's Aaron Pardon Seal Howard, and I got my petition posted on there. You can also get on my Twitter page, which is at Aaron Howard 265. And I just ask respectfully, and be a blessing and honor if anybody would sign and share it and just keep passing the word, because being accused falsely of a crime and then seeing yourself getting convicted with zero evidence is, that's, I want to clear my name, and I want to show and reform the UCMJ and help out those who've also been wrongfully convicted and falsely accused by this corrupt, tarnished military justice system.
Yeah, gotcha. And your parents were obviously quite upset, and they've got involved. Is that correct?
Yeah, they got involved. We got multiple complaints going on against the command, against the military justice system. And because they were there the whole time, they saw exactly what happened. And it's just, they're not happy, nor am I. And to have 16 years of zero discrepancies, zero mishaps, and I had no disciplinary problems to go from that to this. They made me Sailor of the Year for the entire command, Dev Group Command, right before they accused me of this.
Wow. How was it to get Sailor of the Year? That's quite an achievement.
It is, and that's what we're thinking too. Is that's the reason why they targeted me, because a lot of guys were jealous that they didn't get it, and I got it.
Do you get that during buds or something, or is
you can get honor? You can get honor man at buds for like being the, I guess, stud or the best guy, strongest guy. But it's pretty high honor to get Sailor of the Year. I mean, you got to get recommended by your head shed, your leadership, and they all put me in for it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've made SEAL Team 6 and you've got Sailor of the Year. Doesn't really get much better than that, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Aaron, listen, you've been absolutely wonderful. It's been great to meet you. Please, let's stay in touch. I'm going to put all your links and your petition and everything and your social media underneath the video on YouTube. And I'd encourage everybody at home, if you can support this man who's obviously put his life on the line for his country, and make contact with Aaron through social media. I think you could do some support, buddy, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that. It'd be an honor and blessing, and much respect to all.
Aaron, let's speak again soon. I look forward to that, brother. Thank you ever so much again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. And to everybody at home, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Bought the T-Shirt podcast. Much love to you all. Take care. If you could like and subscribe, that will really help the channel. See you next time. Cheers, Aaron. Take care.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate. Hello, friend. I hope this finds you well. My name's Chris THRALL. I'm a former Royal Marines Commando, and I fought my way back from chronic trauma and addiction to live, work and travel in 80 countries across all 7 continents, achieving all of my dreams and goals along the way. Now I pass my simple system on to other people, but I can only help you if you like and subscribe. So please do so, because you get one life, and if you live it right, one is enough.